Hey, what's up everybody? Corey here from Armchair Rockstar. Today we're going to talk about a handful of things that I really wish someone would have told me or taught me right when I started playing guitar. Things that I feel like would have changed the pace of my development quite a bit and maybe made me more interested in playing as time goes on. Most of these are just tips and tricks, things like that, little just odds and ends that some were things I didn't put as much time into as I should have. Others are things that I didn't fully understand at the time or just did because that's how I thought everybody did it. I'm not going to be playing guitar today because, as you can see, I have damaged my arm. By the time we talk again, by the time you see this, I'll know a lot more about what's going on with it. Could possibly have a fracture, probably some ligament damage, so that's kind of got me sidelined a little bit with the guitar for hopefully not more than a few days, but as much as a few weeks. First, we're going to talk about a thing that seems so minimal, but really plays a big role in how you play. And that's about finding the right guitar pick for you. For me, this is my baby. This is and people will mock me for this because it's a Dunlop Jazz 3, but it's a little different. It's a Jazz 3 Max Grip. The Max Grip has almost feels like diamond tread steel type stuff on the side. It's not steel, obviously, it's just injection molded plastic. But with it, I just don't slide. And that's been my go-to for a few years now. This particular one, these are actually made out of carbon fiber. I like them a lot. But for my entire life as a guitarist, all I had ever used were Fender Thins. That was what my dad used. That's what was laying around the house in bags and bags and bags. So I just used what he did. Fact is, my dad is a rhythm guitarist. So for him, his pick needs are a little different than mine because I've spent basically 35 years trying to find my way to being a lead guitarist, which I still don't feel like I am, but hopefully one of these days I'll feel better about it. But about 6 years ago, I was in Guitar Center going to buy some Fender Thins like I always do, and I saw a Dunlop variety pack, and they had them in different thicknesses. So I bought the thin, the medium, and the thick, like $6 for 15 or... Hey, Melody. So, yes? So I bought 3 packs of picks for $6 a piece, and I went home and I just sat down with the guitar, and one at a time I pulled them out. One at a time I just pulled out guitar picks, sat there on my couch with a guitar, and tried to decide if I liked it. If I didn't, it went in one box. If I did like it, it went in another box. And if I was kind of unsure, I put it in just sitting on the couch next to me. So, instantly, about 2/3 of them I was able to just get rid of and know that's not for me. However, having played with Fender Thins, it's a big pick, it's super floppy. Having played with Fender Thins, it's a larger pick, it's super floppy, it's just what I was used to. So, as a young man trying to learn the solos of my heroes, I couldn't quite figure out why I was having so much trouble. I'm like, I know the notes, I get the fingering, I'm playing through them, but I can't get any speed. And that's when I came across the Jazz 3. And when I got it, ow? You okay? So while doing that is when I came across the Jazz 3. I realized suddenly, you're holding it a little tighter, it's a little less pick, and it's a lot thicker. It's about the thickness of 3 Fender Thins, frankly. Maybe not 3, but an easy 2. And I just noticed I was able to play with more precision, which to me was something I just never had. So I was really impressed, And I went through all of them, and I've picked a different pick for acoustic guitar than what I typically used. I went over to the Tortexes for those. And but for playing electric guitar, I generally use these. They're a little warmer. They're not as bright and flashy a pick. So, you know, if you like super crisp and bright, they don't necessarily have it. You'll notice a difference with them, is what I'm saying. But you can get the regular plastic, the nylon. They come in all different shapes, sizes, materials. So just grab a couple packs of those and run through them. You might be surprised. I know I was. Number 2, play more delicately than what you do. In playing as a new player, everybody feels the need to press really hard on chords. You tend to strum harder. None of that's necessary and leads to more problems. The fact is, over time, as you develop calluses, which if you're new, probably your fingers hurt like hell right now, but over time you'll find that you just barely have to push a string. All it has to do is touch the top of the frets. And if it touches the top of the frets, you can gently play a clean note. If you push really hard and you're trying to push down to the wood or press it down between the 2 frets, what you'll essentially do is knock your guitar out of tune. Because what you're doing is stretching that string just a little bit and a little bit, and when you're doing that on every string, playing chords, holding them that way, in a big hurry, you've knocked your guitar quite a ways out of tune and maybe can't figure out why. Especially today. So many of these guitars today have these massive jumbo frets on them, especially if you're a metalhead or something. These big frets are on everything, and with those, you can really knock a guitar out of tune. You can also damage your frets. You know, frets will get little nicks and pock marks. I'll try to find a picture to show you what I'm talking about. And a lot of times that's from people who just play too dang rough. Take it easy. 9 times out of 10, a gently strummed chord or note will ring clearer and more true than one you have blasted through. Now, mind you, if you're playing AC/DC, you put some oomph behind it. You know, certain types of music are a little different. But you've got to be able to balance, to understand where putting that emphasis on a chord, to where that contrasts with playing it so hard it just sounds bad. So just use your own judgment, but be conscious of it. Number 3, I know you're not going to want to hear it, but spend the time on bar chords. I didn't as a young player, not as much as I should have. I hated them. I had a hard time because I have smaller hands, and that's something that always made it difficult for me getting used to them. But I will say that once you learn those bar chords, it really opens up the fretboard to you and gives you some different abilities. Like, you can't always have a capo with you or always play your open style chords. I love those, and Angus Young made a career out of it, and if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for anybody. But if you plan to get outside of that little box, you're going to need to know your fretboard better and be able to play all these different chords in different keys, know where you're going, know when a G changes to a B, when an A becomes a C. You know, you need to be able to know these things, and learning them early will make it so much easier, I swear. I put it off too long, and it was very much an epiphany moment for me when I figured all of that out. Another piece of advice is when you're learning chords, learn them a few places on the fretboard. You know, so if you learn an A chord, learn it up on the 14th fret. Learn it in a couple of different bar chord shapes. If you can learn your chords, especially just your major chords, in several different keys around your fretboard, it makes learning your fretboard so much easier, because you'll know where your root notes are. You'll know where things like that are, where you might not know every note on the fingerboard, but you're able to know, that's an A right over there, pink. And that's something that is really invaluable as a new player and as a professional player when you get older and you've been doing this for a long time. And it's an easy way to do it without just overwhelming your brain with theory. Everyone hates theory. We all know theory is boring. But it's important. So when learning these chords around, you'll be learning a little bit of theory. You'll learn different shapes that make a chord a minor, different shapes that make a chord a seventh, different shapes that add a ninth, or whatever it is you're looking for. So those different options are there. And by doing it this way, take 1 week and say, you know what? I'm going to get in the habit of bouncing through these other A chords. I'm going to get in the habit of C's the next week, and you'll find that every time you add a new chord into that mix, you feel like you know a section of the fretboard even better. And this leads us to our fifth and final point. It's one that I didn't grasp at all when I was young. Number 5, balance your play and practice time. If that you're picking up your guitar and playing is fantastic. That's the idea. Your guitar should make you want to play it. The sounds you make should make you happy. You should enjoy it. But if you ever want to get better, you've also got to spend time practicing. Whether that practice is grinding out a blues minor scale, whether it is just learning the notes or finding different chords as you go, dealing with modes, things like that. Either way, you need some time of both. You need to structure your practice time a little bit. If you're going to play for an hour a day, spend 30 minutes having fun, and spend the next 30 minutes working on a couple things. And this is something you should do for as long as you play guitar, frankly. I'm 40 years old, and I still do this every day. Some days it's something little, some days it's something a little more difficult. Other days it's learning, new songs. The nice thing about learning new songs is you learn other people's techniques, and you learn them quite often in a way that's fun. You can learn to tap from a book, or you can learn to tap from Eruption if you can figure it out by ear. So don't hesitate to just try something new. But make sure that time you spend, at least part of it is devoted to actual practice of some type of technique that will help you to grow as a guitarist. I appreciate everyone who's taken a minute to watch this. These videos are a lot of fun to make. We're going to do some more of these 5 things kind of videos while my arm's messed up here. So stay tuned. I ask if you're a new viewer, please take a minute out to subscribe, give us a thumbs up. That's about it. I hope these tips have helped you move forward on your quest to be the next guitar god of your generation, and we'll see you back here next time. Thanks for watching.